guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at one of my undisclosed locations because once again, we have it. This is the all-new 2021 Kia Seltos. This one's the SX trim, which is the top trim with all-wheel drive. But before we get into this, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Kia. Kia is riding a wave, a tidal wave of success with their Telluride, that mid-sized three-row SUV. What they want to do is they want to bring some of that success to the rest of their lineup. Lots of changes coming with their SUVs. This Seltos is one of them. It slots in between the Soul and the Sportage, all new. What's fascinating is they've actually had this vehicle on sale in India already for a year, but the one for the United States has some certain touches that are unique just for us, which I'll definitely point out to you. Now, I know I've already reviewed this vehicle when we were invited to the press launch for the Seltos, but now that I have it for a week as my press fleet vehicle, it's been almost 7 days, I want to kind of talk about what has life been like living with the Kia Seltos during that time period. Let's go ahead, dive in, and see what's so unique about this SUV. Now, the size of it, it's actually sitting on the same chassis as the Hyundai Kona, but what's awesome is it's actually a little bit larger. They did some really great magic over at Kia, especially when we get to the interior. But from a styling standpoint, really stands out. First of all, we have the unique Seltos signature color. It's called Star Bright. I think it fits it to a T. The personality, very versatile, but also a lot of fun. We got full LED headlights on the SX trim. You got your LED daytime running lamps. I love this split level design they got going on here. Really helps it stand out. Of course, you got your turn signals, because I have the hazards on, all LED. We drop down, you're gonna have your LED fog lamps. Great news is, nothing fake on the front end of this vehicle. We come across that signature grille. It's that tiger nose grille, a little bit squeezed in the center, flat black. Love the design. Also love the way that this is opened underneath it. Really gives it a nice rugged look, and so unique, you're not gonna find another vehicle that looks like the Seltos. I also am digging this nice texture design that starts on the top of the grille here and actually goes all the way around the headlight housing with the trim. Now, as we drop down, this portion is unique to the United States. If you look at a Seltos from India, it has a totally different front fascia. What they did was they wanted to give you more ground clearance. So we got a lot of ground clearance, which is great. The flat silver gives it that off-road SUV look, but very, very unique on the styling. Now, when we get up onto the hood, you got the Kia badge. Love the body lines. It's real nice J-hook design in the body line. Kind of has it curved right towards the A-pillar on both sides. Personality is really the name of the game, especially in this class. Subcompact SUV has a lot of competition. And believe it or not, with the way that this one is proportioned, it could even go up against the RAV4 from Toyota, which is a compact SUV. Now, coming around the bend, you can see how the headlight housing comes into the fender treatment. We got some flat black, and then these wheels are specific to the SX trim. So it's an 18-inch wheel, machined aluminum, nice look with the dark gray to 235 on the width, 45 series sidewall, plenty of room in between the top of the tire and the inside of the fender. On the fender, they do put a very bold all-wheel drive badge. I am gonna zonk that. I wish they would just save that for the back. I think that would just kind of clean up the side fender view of this Seltos. SX trim, you're gonna get gloss black mirror caps, very slim and trim on the LED turn signals. Also, this one has the optional two-tone setup, so you can get the blacked out roof. Starts with the A-pillars, goes into the roof, and I think what's great is that if you look at the way that the roof is designed, very similar to the big Telluride, that nice squared off look, I think fits it great. You're gonna have your roof rails, a little bit of silver, a little bit of flat black. You could get your crossbars. And what's great is I'm 6 feet tall. Think about it, you could get your gear up there real easy, whether it's a kayak, a mountain bike, or maybe even a cargo basket. Flat black, like the silver trim on the door handles, just a little bit of gloss black on the lower portion. The rest of it is flat, and here's one of my favorite parts. As we get to the rear here, to the corner window, curves up and then it ends. I love this design element. It reminds me sort of on the Telluride, how they bring the trim up a little in the center. I think that this was spot on the money, especially with the two-tone roof. Looks fantastic. We get to the back, what are we working with? Nice style taillight design. You have your reverse lamps built into the trim. So there's that silver trim with the reverse lamps, nice low roof spoiler. We drop down, you got your SX badge. This one has a turbocharged inline four. That's what that TGDI badge stands for, Seltos. But like I was saying, I think the all-wheel drive badge would look better on the back. Look at the design element, nice concave portion to the hatch. We drop down and then here's a zonk. I don't know if they're trying to make that look like an exhaust, but it just doesn't look very clean. I am gonna zonk that, especially with that fake vent, but the flat silver matches very well with what's going on at the front end of the business. Let's go ahead, pop the hood and see what's powering this Seltos. All right guys, hood is popped. They do have a prop rod, but it's all the way over to one side. Underneath that hood, like I said, tasteful engine cover, and you have a turbocharged engine. You're looking at a 1.6 liter inline four turbocharged engine. Now this is the same engine out of the Kia Forte GT, but it's been retuned for SUV duty. So what they did was they remapped it, 175 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque. It's all routed through that 7-speed DCT transmission. Kia calls it the quick shift DCT transmission. 0 to 60, 6.6 seconds. The all-wheel drive model that we have here weighs in around 3,271 pounds. MPGs, you're looking at 25 in the city, 30 on the highway, top speed of 125 miles per hour. Now, the great news is that if you want all-wheel drive, you don't have to get the SX trim. One of the smartest things I think Kia did is you could get all-wheel drive on any of the trims, even the base entry level. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior, because I'm telling you, Kia is bringing the A game when it comes to that space. All right, guys, we're inside the 2021 Kia Seltos SX with all-wheel drive. I know you're at that point, you're like, Joe, how much is this? Well, like I said, this one is fully loaded. It's got all the bells and whistles. You're looking at an MSRP of around $29,000. Let's see what you get for the money, and I'm also gonna talk about some of my experience borrowing this for the week. Door panel looks good. The only zonk is it's hard plastic at the top and the middle and the bottom. I do love the gloss black though, nice touch. Soft on the armrest with the stitching. This one has the optional Bose sound system, and you have ambient lighting, which beats with the bass of the music. Nice sized door pocket. You could put a chalupa, maybe a burrito, or maybe an apple and a banana, depending on which way you want to go, and something to wash it down. Now, having it for the week, one thing I noticed is at the top of the door panel, very, very hard, and I like to normally put my arm there. So it did make it a little sore to leave my arm there, especially if I'm going over rough pavement and whatnot. But just something to point out if you like to put your arm on the top of the door panel. Dash is on the hard side, but they do bring some nice soft material with the stitch work. I love the curve. This has been amazing for the past week. This is the largest in its class, 10.25-inch infotainment system screen. Now, what's wonderful, as you can see, you have your 3 different things you could put on the screen, and you could coordinate that any way you want. This one has sound. So if you're having a stressed out day and you want a little bit of calm, you get the nice ocean, get some nice sea waves. We could change it. How about a rainy day? I guess just make sure you don't have to use the restroom, because you're probably going to want to use the restroom after hearing all that water. But there's lots of different options. You could do lively forest. So something during the week which was kind of nice, especially when I was having a little bit of a stressed out time. You do have your navigation, and real simple, you click on it. Like I said, 10.25-inch screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We hit the home button, we're back. You could get your weather forecast, all that nicely placed, and it's at a great height. Driving it, perfect height. We come down, you get your start stop button. I love the silver. Look at how they took the silver over here and then blended it nicely into the AC vents. Standard AC controls, and this was a little bit of an issue when I was riding around with Lori and whatnot, because we could only have one temp in here. So at the SX trim, it would have been nice to have dual climate. We drop down though, you get wireless charging, and it's perfect the way it's on a nice little shelf. You have your 12-volt and 2 USBs. So that's another great little feature. You could put a couple candy bars in here. You have a mode selector knob, which I'll show you what that is when you come over to the business end. This is going to control that 7-speed DCT transmission. I'll show you what the reverse camera looks like. There we are out back. You do have trajectory, which is really nice. Put it back in the park. Heated seats. This, having all-wheel drive, you could actually lock the center diff. Now, is this a true rock crawling SUV? No, but you'll be surprised. This can get through some pretty good terrain. Love the silver. It's like a mini oak crap handle for your passenger. Of course, I have a heated seat. You have your 2 cup holders, a nice place for some Tootsie Rolls. You got your electric e-brake. Armrest is hard, but it's at a great height. You lift it up, and you could easily probably put about 14 Twinkies in there. So that's a nice Twinkie holder. Seats I love, and over the week, they've been comfortable. So soft, the stitch work is great. They look really nice. Now the passenger has manual controls, but full electric controls for the driver, which is really wonderful. But even for somebody 6 feet tall, somebody smaller, these seats seem to really work well with everybody. Even the LED lighting is really nice. One thing that I was missing was a sunroof, especially at an SX trim. It would be nice to have a sunroof. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of the Kia Seltos. All right, guys, business time. Door opening, great size. Getting in and out, even for somebody my height, was real simple. Seat controls are wonderful. You got your lower lumbar, which is great. Steering wheel, I absolutely love. Perfect thickness, 10 and 2 notches, some nice stitch work. Easy to figure out the buttons, which is wonderful as well. And what's nice is, for me at least, there were no paddles. I felt like this vehicle didn't need paddles. No paddles what to speak of. Now the dash, you have that nice large digital display in the center, analog tach, speedometer, coolant gauge, and fuel gauge. The one thing I'm really missing is it has a digital speedometer here, too small. During the week, it just was too small. It would be nice to have it in the center. You can't put it in the center, and that's a little bit of a bummer. You do get that whole suite of Kia safety features, lane keep assist, emergency braking, just everything, blind spot monitoring, all those safety features that you come to expect are in this Seltos. Really great amount of room though, and that's one of my favorite things is the space. Why don't we check out the back seat though and see how your passengers are gonna like this Kia Seltos. All right guys, back seat time. This is really where you don't feel like you're in a subcompact. The amount of room back here is ridiculous. Nice tall ceiling because of that flat roof. And then the backs of the seats for parents, this is gonna be great because your kids can kick this and put their boogers on it, and then you can just wipe it clean. You do only have 1 pocket though, and I don't advise you putting Twinkies in here because the cream is gonna explode everywhere. Rear AC, a USB, and a place for a couple Snickers. So that is nice to have that flexibility. And like I said, the legroom, I didn't move the driver's seat. The legroom is phenomenal back here, phenomenal. Armrests, great height. It's got a nice soft cush to it. 2 cup holders. Flip it back. Let's go ahead and check out the cargo space and see how usable it is for your travels. All right, guys, time to check out the cargo area. Real simple. You hit the button. You just use a little muscle. You lift it up. Look at the size of that opening. If you're wondering, well, how much space do we have? 27 cubic feet of space. What's wonderful is that the floor is actually adjustable. So I have it in the lower setting. You could actually just lift up and move the whole floor to the higher setting. You get a nice size spare, which is great. And then to fold down the seats, it's just a little bit easier to access it from the passenger doors rather than from the back. But you just pull up on these levers and you're just gonna flop it down ever so nicely. Look at all the room in here. And like I said, the floor is in the lower setting. You could bring the floor up and kind of even that out a little bit. That is really a home run for this Kia Seltos. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go take the Seltos for a spin. All right, guys, we're leaving our undisclosed location. We're in the 2021 Seltos. Some of the things I really have enjoyed driving this is just how smooth it drives, how easy it is to drive. It's a great size to where definitely not too small, definitely not too big, right in that sweet spot. The way everything is organized is very nicely done. Even having that drive mode selectors knob is nice. So you have 3 different modes: normal, sport, and smart, depending on what you want the driving situation to be like for you, because it does change. When you put into sport, it does change how the engine and the transmission behave together, throttle sensitivity, all that good stuff. So I have it in sport right now, and of course you get that obligatory little bit of red trim on the dash and whatnot. Visibility out front is phenomenal. I'm just really missing a sunroof in here. I wish that there was some type of sunroof. To shut the auto start-stop feature, it's real simple. There's a button in the lower left-hand corner, easy to get to. Sometimes in certain vehicles, it's like mission impossible trying to find one of those. The way that the 7-speed DCT shifts is very, very smooth. And overall, it's very quiet in here, which is nice. You're not getting a bunch of glare off of the dash, even when the sun position changes, which is great. But let's go ahead and get on throttle. There's those shifts. And I really think the DCT, the 7-speed DCT, behaves very, very well with the 1.6-liter turbo. A lot of other applications, not only in Kia's lineup, but also Hyundai's lineup, uses the same setup, and it really does make sense. And I think that the way that they kind of recalibrated the horsepower and torque for an SUV rather than a hatchback or a sedan, that also makes sense as well. Nice weight to the steering wheel. Everywhere you look, it definitely feels like a more expensive vehicle for sure. One of the things, like I said, I did not really love is that I wish I could configure that 7-inch display a little bit more to what I want. Also, it would be nice to have a head-up display, even if it just showed speed limit and my speed. That would be also a nice touch, especially because we are in the SX trim. All right, guys, let me show you an acceleration test from a dead stop. And one thing I noticed over the week, I was never wanting more power. On throttle, takes a second for the boost to kick in, but then you're off and running. Super smooth, like I said, not really buzzy. And the interior, I'm telling you, it feels like it's well put together, which it is. And that's what I like, that you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to get those types of things. But over the week, having the horsepower that this has, I never felt like I was wanting for more. To pass people or to merge or to get on the highway was very easy. And as you can see, driving it super smooth. It soaks up the bumps nicely. I did drive it in the rain a couple times, and the all-wheel drive works phenomenal. Of course, you got torque vectoring. That's also going to help with stability and get the traction to the ground. And if you do go off-road, say sand or dirt, you do have that ability to lock the differential, which is great. But really, really nice overall feel when you're driving down the road. And another thing is, you get a lot of compliments on this vehicle. Every time I was stopped somewhere, whether I was at the store or whatnot, people just gravitated towards that star bright color and the unique look of it. All right, guys, driving down the road, very, very smooth. The seats were wonderful. That was one thing, you know, some of these companies still have not figured out how to make a nice seat. The seats have been wonderful. You could drive miles and miles sitting in this seat and still feel fresh as a daisy. And I think the other big part of this whole puzzle is the amount of room that's back there, not only for passengers, but also for hauling your stuff. I think it's just such a versatile vehicle that a lot of people are gonna find that it fits their particular lifestyle perfectly. And budget, of course, that's also a big thing as well. All right, guys, hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel of what the Seltos is about. Living with it for a week definitely opened up my eyes to some things that I was missing, but it really opened up my eyes to how many great things this SUV does, especially for the price. But we're gonna go ahead, wrap this up, get back to our undisclosed location, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been a wonderful week with this 2021 Kia Seltos. I definitely gotta thank JB, James, and the rest of the crew over at Kia for allowing us access to this Seltos. It really shows what Kia is doing when it comes to their thought process about what is going to make you happy when it comes to an SUV, no matter what size it is. The way they brought certain design elements, spot on the money, and the room and how the room is organized and the extra features you get really shows the value behind the Kia brand. But if it's SUVs like this Seltos that you like to see on the channel, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Raise Rise merch. Got to get up to Big Guns McGee, Tom Motion, working that camera like a champ. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.